logic on these kinds of scenarios. If you are to believe the Pentagon, and I do, we have a security net over this country, down-looking satellites and radar that is designed to stop as small of an incoming target as an air-to-ground missile launched from a Soviet MiG out of Cuba. Now, if that's the case, and you can do that, and I believe we can do that, that's been proven time and time again we can, you have to ask yourself, how are all these drugs getting into this country?
So what are the drug busts that we see? Are those cowboys or people that were not inside, who are not licensed drug runners for the CIA being busted?
Oh, the independent, the entrepreneurs, the little guys, the guys with a Cessna that gets caught with a duffel bag full and goes to prison for life. The juxtaposition to that is a C-123 with 5 tons coming in unabated.
How do we stop this? Just education?
No. We, the American people, first of all, say we don't want a war on drugs. I'm for total legalization of drugs.
Well, some people will be shocked by that back in the 1920s during Prohibition, alcohol abuse skyrocketed. It created giant armed gangs. If you make something illegal and risque, a giant black market rises.
Well, black market is what the problem is. The profits are there. Take the profit out.
And then it loses the flair and it loses the money.
Not only does it lose that, anybody else still in the trade certainly surfaces as a cold sore real abruptly. The banks that launder the money would surface and probably go bankrupt. It'd be interesting as an experiment, I've always said, to let's say we're not going to do this permanently, but for 3 months, for 90 days, we're going to have a test, and we're going to legalize cocaine for 90 days, and just see the reaction of corporations, companies, big businesses that are in the drug business, and banks that launder the proceeds, and watch them surface, because they would go into withdrawal real abruptly.
Well, Mr. Reed, just 2 more short questions, and I appreciate your time with us here today. The general public has a gut-level feeling that the information you're discussing is true. Even Esquire did a large article 2 months ago about it in their September issue, documenting it, DEA people, carte blanche admitting it. And we've seen articles in early 97 about the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas and San Antonio being caught with $3 billion of drug money. This goes to the highest levels. Truthfully, it's good to say we should decriminalize drugs, but at the same point, isn't the war on drugs also creating the police state that they like?
That's my greatest concern. I don't say let's legalize drugs because I want to see you use drugs or anybody else. We have not had a war on drugs. We've had a war on our Bill of Rights under the guise of the war on drugs. I never thought I'd ever live to see the day in this country that I fought for to have roadblocks, arbitrary roadblocks. Now, passengers in vehicles have no rights, as you know, that the passenger has an obligation to show his or her identification.
Asset forfeiture, seizure.
The test case before the Supreme Court as we speak are the passengers' belongings in a vehicle subject to involuntary search, and I believe the Supreme Court will go along and say police have the right to stop and search you and me or anybody else in a vehicle. The Fourth Amendment is worthless. It's been trampled on. It's useless. And
this is reminiscent of Nazi Germany.
Absolutely. So if we want to return to a nation of greatness, we're forced to legalize drugs just simply to preserve our civil liberties guaranteed us under the Bill of Rights.
And then if some idiot wants to OD, that's their problem. Don't take my civil liberties.
To me, that person who OD'd is a lot less threat than a group of SWAT team officers kicking down a door inadvertently and shooting the wrong guy.
And saying it's because of drugs.
Absolutely.
That's their umbrella. Mr. Reed, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Let me, if I may, end my formal remarks there. I don't believe we've got more than 5 minutes, but Dr. Faulkner, would it be useful if I took some questions here before we leave?
General McCaffrey, Alex Jones from KJFK Radio in Austin, Texas. I fully agree with you on the scourge of narcotics and their destructive consequences on the human brain. But something I find interesting is the massive evidence coming out in the past of our own government and other international organizations' involvement in drug smuggling. In fact, 2 days ago, you called Colombia an emergency situation, and you're calling for $1 billion and more funding. Well, your head of counter narcotics and drug operations in Colombia, his wife was just caught shipping in masses of cocaine into the United States. This is from the Washington Post, sir. Also have Reuters right here on it.
Is there a question?
Yes, that's my question. I just wanted to state my facts because, you know, we're in this world where you ask a serious question, you're a kook. Let's talk about the drug running of this government.
Last time I got that question was the first press conference I had in Washington was an older reporter.
Now watch this diversionary response. He goes into how much he loves the children instead of answering the real question. Oh, and by the way, since my confrontation with General McCaffrey about 8 months ago at the time of the making of this film, the colonel has also pled guilty to narcotics trafficking. The head of drug interdiction in Central and South America, working for the man on your screen.
Let's talk about the drug running of this government.
Last time I got that question was the first press conference I had in Washington was an older reporter. And you know, I said, I don't know. I've been serving the country for 32 years. I'm not running any drugs. Louis Free, I don't think is. I think the poor wife of the Milgar commander in Colombia underscores the problem. Drug abuse and its consequences are not a problem confined to one subsegment of the population. It affects all of us. Corruption, illegality. 4 months ago, I visited one of my best friends, lifelong friends. The four of us grew up together in the Army. Very senior officer. 3 beautiful kids. The baby is 21 years old now. Kid looks like Christopher Reeves, handsome lad. We had a little chat there, the 3 of us, visiting the 2 parents and the boy. And he's in a wheelchair with major, permanent, short-term and long-term cognitive impairment. And they've chopped away the muscle mass of his right arm and right leg because he overdosed on heroin and was in a coma for 42 days. That's a face of drug abuse. And we've arrested former senior officials of the Department of Justice, mayors, sheriffs, officers in the National Guard. There are 38 cases of corruption in the Customs Service in the last 3 years. By the way, when I say that, I don't mean to imply, and nor do I believe, that this government is seriously jeopardized by drug-based corruption.
Well, I wasn't accusing you of drug running, sir.
No, I just...
The NSA and the CIA, and y'all just make sure everything, go after the cowboys. They give you a target to go after. They're
What do you got, Charlie?
Hey, General, I wasn't accusing you.
Yeah.
But, hey, we know what's going on. It's funny, isn't it?
You had to be there to see it. McCaffrey just simply laughed after he walked by. Yeah. See, he had his little emotional speech up there about the baby, trying to win people over with emotionalism. But he's a cold-hearted dealer in death. And yes, now with more research, I will accuse McCaffrey of being a drug runner.
Exiting. General McCaffrey, there's a lot of documentation on the drug running, sir. There's massive stacks of evidence, General McCaffrey. I'm glad to walk down the hall, bud. Are you violating my civil rights? Or my God-given rights, I should say better.
No, this is closed press right now. Thank you.
Oh, closed the press right now?
This walk is, yes.
Oh, this walk is?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay.
If you'll respect our...
There are people walking all over the place. They got some Army intelligence gentlemen following me along.
False reporting.
Does this go out?
Military personnel right now.
Oh, really? No? The general isn't here? There weren't a bunch of Navy people in uniforms?
He's not active duty. Thank you.
Oh, well, I know that. He's active cover-up. Yes. Well, thank you very much. Y'all have fun in the office of the dean.
McCaffrey was giggling and smirking the entire time, and we didn't catch it on video where these guys were trying to shove me up against a wall. Little boot-licking slime balls right here in America. I don't care if there's drug dealing. I don't care if we're the biggest prison state in the world. Yes, growing faster than the internet. I have power. I know the General McCaffrey. Lack of honor, my friends. That's what's destroying this nation.
You did a great job. Thank you. Oh, good.